You can't seem to do anything right. You this barren pig. Matthew screamed at the top of his lungs. The next moment, his palm landed across Adana's cheek with a deafening slap. The sound cracked through the grand hall like a whip, silencing music, laughter, and clinking glasses. Adana stumbled back, her hand flying to her face as gasps rose from the crowd. "Jesus!" a woman near the buffet shouted. "Oh my God, sir!" a man muttered under his breath. The hall froze. All eyes turned to them. The MC lowered his microphone. The band stopped mid-note. Even the waiters froze in place, holding trays that now rattled in their hands. Adana swayed but caught herself, pressing her palm against the stinging cheek. She blinked at her husband, her lips trembling. "Matthew, please. Not here. Not here." Matthew thundered, his chest heaving. "This is the perfect place. Let everybody see what I've been enduring in my own house." Whispers flew around the room like restless birds. Why would he talk like this to his wife? Ha! She has suffered in his hand. See the poor woman's face. Adana's voice quivered. "It was only wine. I'll clean it." "Shut up," Matthew barked, jabbing a finger at her. "You can't clean yourself, talk more of wine." "Useless woman." The words stabbed deeper than the slap. Adana looked down, trying to hold back tears, but Matthew wasn't finished. He turned to the guests like a man making a public declaration. "All of you listen. This woman you see here is my greatest mistake in life. She has given me nothing. No children. No pride. Nothing." The crowd gasped again. Someone muttered, "So he's saying it openly?" Adana finally found her voice. "Matthew, stop. Please. Don't say this in front of everyone." "Why not?" he snapped. "What do I owe you? Respect? You don't deserve it. From the day I picked you out of your poverty, I knew you would drag me down. And what has happened? You've dragged me at every turn." A woman in teal lace stepped forward, gently touching Adana's arm. "Sister, let's go to the restroom, eh? Put some ice on your cheek." But Matthew's glare made her step back. "Nobody touches her. Let her stand here and learn." Adana's tears spilled, and she wiped them quickly, but Matthew sneered. "See? Crying again. That's all you know. Cry, beg, and disgrace me." "Brother Matthew," an older man said softly, "calm yourself. This is not the way." "Keep quiet," Matthew snapped. "Would you calm down if your wife turned you into a laughingstock? Do you know the deals I was sealing tonight? Do you know the kind of men here? And look what she has done." The MC, sweating at the stage, raised the mic timidly. "Maybe we should continue the program." "Shut that thing before I break it," Matthew barked, making the MC flinch and step back. Adana's voice broke through the silence, low but steady. Why did you marry me then, Matthew? If I am all these things you say." The room went silent again, all eyes fixed on him. Matthew smirked cruelly. "Why? Because I was foolish. Because I mistook pity for love. Because I thought charity was a blessing. But look at me now. Look at what I'm stuck with. A barren dead weight." His words hung in the air like poison. Adana's hand dropped from her cheek. She felt small, but she refused to fall. She swallowed, forcing herself to speak. "I said I'm sorry. It was an accident." Matthew laughed bitterly. "Your whole life is an accident." Gasps rippled through the crowd. Some guests shook their heads in disgust. Others looked away, too ashamed to watch. Phones were now recording quietly from the back. Adana's breathing quickened. "Do you want me to leave?" she asked finally. Matthew folded his arms and leaned close. "Yes, leave. Get out before you disgrace me more than you already have." Her chest rose and fell as she gathered herself. She looked at the crowd, her voice barely above a whisper. "Good evening, everyone. I apologize for the scene. Please, enjoy the rest of your night." A murmur spread. Some nodded sadly. A few whispered prayers under their breath. No one moved to stop her. Adana turned, each step heavy but steady. The crowd parted like water, eyes following her but hands staying folded. She passed the band. The saxophonist looked down at his shoes. She passed the MC. He stared at the floor. A young lady in the crowd slipped her a tissue and whispered, "Sorry, Ma." Adana clutched it tightly. At the door, she paused for one last glance. Matthew stood tall in the center of the hall. His jaw set, his shadow long under the chandelier. Guests whispered behind their palms. Some looked at Adana with pity, others with shame. She turned and walked out. The cool night air wrapped around her as the heavy doors closed behind. She pressed the tissue to her burning cheek. Her tears fell silently, mixing with powder. Inside, Matthew laughed loudly, forcing the party back to life. The band struck a tune again, but it sounded flat, hollow. The slap still hung in the air, echoing in every guest's mind. Adana walked past the guards at the gate. She kept her head down, her steps slow but firm. The Lagos night stretched ahead, dark and uncertain. But her heart whispered quietly, "This is not the end." The morning after the slap, the house felt cold. Adana's cheek still burned. She moved quietly, hoping to avoid trouble. But Matthew's voice carried from the living room, loud and bright like nothing happened. "Pick a date, Ngozi," he said on the phone. "I'm done pretending. I'm tired of dead weight." Adana stopped in the hallway. Her heart stumbled. She knew the voice on the other end even before he put the phone on speaker. Ngozi laughed softly. "You're serious?" "Very serious," Matthew said. "Next month is fine. I want something grand. People must talk." Adana stepped into the living room. "Matthew, who are you talking to?" He did not flinch. He held the phone like a trophy. "Your best friend." "Give me the phone," Adana said, her voice shaking. Matthew tilted the phone so she could hear more clearly. Ngozi's voice came sweet and warm. "Adana, good morning." Adana stared at the phone like it was a snake. "Ngozi, why?" Ngozi sighed. "Please don't make it messy. Matthew and it just happened." "It just happened?" Adana repeated. "You are my friend." "I was your friend," Ngozi said. "But you and Matthew have been done for a long time. Everyone can see it." Matthew smiled without looking at Adana. "She lacks what I need. You, Ngozi, you're a woman a man can show the world." Adana felt the room tilt. "You were at our wedding. You held my bouquet. You called me sister." "Don't be dramatic," Ngozi said. "We are adults. These things happen. Focus on yourself." Adana's hand trembled. Matthew cut the call. "We will talk." "There is nothing to talk about," he said. He took the phone off speaker and brought it back to his ear. "I'll send you the invite list today. Bye, darling." He ended the call and tossed the phone on the sofa. Now, where were we? Adana's eyes filled, but she held the tears back. "You humiliated me last night. Today you call my best friend to plan a wedding." Matthew shrugged. "You made your choice. You chose weakness. I'm choosing happiness." "Happiness with my friend?" "Your ex-friend," he said. "Pack your things." Her mouth fell open. "Pack what?" "Your things," he said, clear and slow. "I want you out of this house before noon." Adana took a step back like the words pushed her. "Where should I go?" "Anywhere," he said. "Back to your people. Back to wherever you came from. This house is not for you." She tried to laugh, but it came out as a small broken sound. "You want to throw me out with nothing?" "You have your clothes," he said. "You have your life. What else do you want from me?" "My marriage," she whispered. "My home." Matthew snorted. "Marriage ended last night. Home ended a long time ago." She folded her arms as if to hold herself together. "So this is it? After everything? After years?" Matthew's face hardened. "Don't make it look bigger than it is. I carried you long enough. I'm done." Adana stood still for a long second. Then she turned and walked to the bedroom. She took a small bag from the wardrobe and packed slowly. 2 dresses, underwear, a headscarf, a pair of shoes. She took the small photo of their wedding day, looked at it once, then dropped it back in the drawer. She took a Bible her mother gave her and held it to her chest. Matthew stood at the doorway, arms folded. "Hurry up." She zipped the bag. "Where is my ATM card?" "I blocked it," he said. It's my account. Return the key cards and the driver's number. Adana faced him. You want me to beg? I want you to leave, he said. He turned and left. She stood there for a quiet moment, then picked up her bag and walked through the hallway like a ghost. The house smelled like polish and new money and danger. Her cheek still throbbed. She did not touch it. At the front door, the security man looked confused. Madam, are you traveling? She forced a smile. Just going out for a while. Matthew appeared behind her. She's leaving for good, he told the guard. Open the gate. The guard's eyes darted from one to the other. Olga, is everything okay? Do I look like a clown? Matthew snapped. Open it. The gate rolled back with a sad sound. Adana stepped out, the morning sun too bright for her eyes. She held her small bag like it was heavier than a car. The gate closed behind her with a final clang. She walked. She didn't know where she was going. She just moved. Her phone buzzed. Messages from unknown numbers. Gossip from last night. Videos. Captions. Pity. Shame. She put the phone on silent and kept walking until the street noise turned to a hum. By afternoon, she sat on a bench near a small kiosk. The woman selling drinks looked at her swollen cheek and did not ask questions. She handed Adana a cold sachet of water. Take, the woman said softly. No money. God bless you, Adana whispered, drinking slowly, letting the cold calm her. As the sun began to drop, she found a cheap lodge for the night. The room was small and smelled of soap and old paint. She locked the door, sat on the bed, and finally let the tears come. When they stopped, she washed her face and lay down. Sleep did not come easily, but morning did. Days passed. She found a small room to rent. She kept to herself. She walked to market. She kept her phone off most times. Sometimes it buzzed with messages from strange numbers asking, "Is it true?" Sometimes videos of the gala would pop up when she opened social media by mistake. She would close it at once. Her cheek healed. Her heart did not. On the 5th day, a knock came to her door. She opened it and saw a courier holding a gold envelope. "Mrs. Adana Matthew?" he asked. She hesitated, then nodded. He handed her the envelope and left. Her hands shook as she broke the seal. Inside was a thick card, white, heavy, expensive. Matthew Ngozi, a celebration of love. Venue, date, dress code. At the bottom, in neat print, special guest, Adana. A smaller note fell out, written by hand. She knew the handwriting. Matthews, make sure you come. Sit in front. Watch and learn how a real woman treats her husband. Do not be late. The room grew quiet. Adana stood there, the invitation cold in her hand. She tried to breathe. The air felt tight. She sat on the edge of the bed and read the card again and again until the words blurred. Her phone rang. It was an unknown number. She ignored it. It rang again. She picked. Hello. Ngozi's voice filled the line, sweet, careful. Adana, I hope you got the invitation. Adana said nothing. Ngozi continued. Please don't make it awkward. Just come, sit, and go. No scenes. Adana finally spoke, her voice low. Are you happy? I'm where I belong, Ngozi said. And you will be fine. The call ended. Adana lowered the phone slowly. She looked at the invitation one more time. Her cheeks were dry now. Her eyes were steady. She stood and placed the card on the small table. She did not tear it. She did not throw it away. She simply left it there, shining under the weak bulb like a dare. Outside, the evening noise of Lagos rose. Horns, shouts, life moving on. Inside, Adana sat very still, the gold envelope beside her like a quiet fire. She whispered to the room, to herself, to no one, I will not die here. And the night answered with silence that felt like the start of something new. Are you Adana, niece to the late Chief Obinakalu? The man at the door asked. She tightened her wrapper, her eyes narrowing. Yes. Who are you? He pulled out an ID card and held it up. Barrister Okeke, your uncle's lawyer. Please, can I come in? They sat in the cramped room she rented. The gold wedding invitation lay face down on the table, mocking her. The lawyer looked around the peeling walls and sighed quietly before turning back to her. "My dear," he began softly, "we have been searching for you for weeks. Your uncle's will could not be read without you. He left very clear instructions." Adana frowned. "My uncle? Chief Obinna? But why me?" "That is what you will find out," Barrister Okeke said. "Please, come to chambers this afternoon. It is important." She stared at him like he was speaking a strange language. "What could he possibly have left for me? I was the poor relation." The lawyer gave a small, knowing smile. Sometimes the poor relation is the one who is most loved. By afternoon, Adana sat stiffly in the lawyer's office. 2 other relatives were already there, a plump woman with heavy jewelry and a tall, thin man in a blue kaftan. They looked at her like she didn't belong. "So this is the niece?" the woman sneered. "This is who delayed everything?" "Peace, madam," Barrister Okeke said, raising his hand. He brought out a sealed envelope with her name written in Chief Obinna's familiar handwriting. Adana. Her breath caught. He broke the seal and began to read. "I, Chief Obinna Kalu, being of sound mind, hereby leave full control of my holdings, estates, and financial accounts to my niece, Adana." The woman jumped to her feet. "What nonsense are you reading? Where is my name? Where is my brother's name? Where is—" "Please sit," the lawyer said firmly. He kept reading. "I leave none of my businesses to my cousins or extended relatives, who have only sought to empty my pockets. Adana is the only one who stood by me when I was weak. She is the only one who showed kindness when others mocked me. She is my heir." Gasps filled the room. The tall man slapped his knee. "Lies! Which kindness? This girl knows nothing of business. She is a nobody." The lawyer closed the file slowly. "There is also a video recording. If you doubt me, hear it from him directly." He turned a laptop to face them and press play. Chief Obinna appeared, frail but sharp-eyed. His voice was calm. "If you are watching this, I am gone. My niece Adana, you reminded me that love is not noise. When I was sick, you came. You cooked. You prayed. You never asked for land or money. For that, I give you everything. Take care of what I built. Do not let greedy hands waste it." The screen went black. The room froze. The plump woman's face turned red. She slammed her palm on the desk. "This cannot stand. I will fight this in court." "Fight if you like," the lawyer said calmly. "All documents are signed and sealed. The law will not favor you." The thin man leaned toward Adana, his eyes sharp. "You think you've won? You will drown in it. Mark my words." Adana finally spoke, her voice trembling. "I never asked for this. I never expected it." The lawyer looked at her kindly. "But your uncle trusted you. That is why he chose you." The angry relatives stormed out, slamming the door. Silence returned. Adana sat motionless, her hands clenched. "Is this real?" "It is very real," Barrister Okeke said. "Your uncle left hotels, estates, oil shares, and several accounts. There is also a private residence he wanted you to move into." She covered her mouth with her hand, trying to breathe. "Why me? Why would he give me everything?" The lawyer leaned forward. "Because he saw what others ignored. He told me, Adana has nothing, but she gives everything." Tears filled her eyes. She nodded slowly. "So, what do I do now?" "You accept," the lawyer said simply. "We will visit each property. You will meet the managers. You will take over." Her hands shook as she signed the first papers. By the third, she was steady. The next day, they visited the hotel on Victoria Island. The manager, a tall woman with bright eyes, greeted her with a bow. "Welcome, madam. We have been waiting." Adana looked around. The marble floors, polished lights, staff moving quickly. Felt like a dream. She tried to smile. "Thank you." The manager laid out files. "Here are the accounts, here are the bookings. The staff are ready to follow your lead." Adana nodded, listening carefully. She didn't pretend to know everything. She just asked simple questions and wrote notes. They drove next to the estate in Lekki. Rows of houses stood tall behind neat gates. The estate officer brought out ledgers, speaking with respect. "We are ready to work with you, ma. Rent collection, maintenance, all is here." Adana flipped through the files, each number another weight pressing on her chest. She looked up at the officer and whispered, "I will not waste this. I promise." By evening, she sat in her new apartment on the island, the ocean breeze filling the room. She placed two things on the glass table: the gold wedding invitation and the keys to her uncle's empire. One was a wound, the other was a door. Her phone rang. It was Barrister Okeke. "Madam, there is one more thing. Your uncle told me, if life ever throws you out of a door, enter through the gate with your head high. Do not hide." She pressed the phone to her ear and closed her eyes. "I hear you." After the call, she walked to the mirror. The woman staring back was the same, yet not the same. Her gown was simple, but her eyes were sharper. The line in her mouth was firmer. She touched the wedding invitation. The words shone under the lamp: Matthew and Ngozi, a celebration of love. At the bottom, special guest, Adana. She whispered, "I will come, but not like this." The next morning, she called a tailor. "I need a gown," she said. "Osso oak with gold detail, elegant but strong. Deliver it before the wedding." The tailor asked, "Big event, ma?" Adana's lips curved. "Yes, very big." She ended the call and stood by the window, looking out at the ocean. The waves rolled and rolled, steady and strong. For the first time in weeks, her chest felt steady too. This was not the end. This was the beginning. "Put her on the front row," Matthew said, tapping the seating chart with a gold pen. "I want Adana to see everything." Ngozi leaned over his shoulder, smiling at the planner. "Make her sit where the camera will catch her face. Right side, aisle seat. Perfect." The planner hesitated. "Sir, madam, are you sure?" Matthew's voice was flat. "Very sure." Ngozi turned to her bridesmaids. "Ladies, when she walks in, pretend not to see her. We don't do pity here." They laughed, but one of them whispered, "Won't it be messy?" Ngozi shrugged. If she wanted dignity, she would have kept her husband. Matthew's phone buzzed. He answered with a grin. "Cameraman? I want a roaming lens. If my special guest blinks, I want it on record." He ended the call and looked satisfied. This wedding will trend. Across town, Adana stood before a tailor's mirror as pins clicked softly around her waist. "Turn small," the tailor said. "Raise your chin." "Good." The osso oak hugged her figure with quiet strength. Gold threads caught the light, not loud, just clear. The stylist adjusted her simple geli. "No drama," Adana said. "Sharp and calm." Her PA Kamsi checked a list. "Car is booked. Driver knows the route. Security is arranged. Do you want a makeup artist at home or on site?" "At home," Adana said. "And no interviews." Kamsi nodded. "Done." Adana studied her reflection. "I'm not going there to fight. I'm going to stand." The tailor smiled. "You will do more than stand. You will shine." At a cake tasting, Ngozi stabbed a fork into a velvet slice. "Bigger. Add edible gold leaf. We're not doing poverty." Matthew lifted a champagne glass. "To new seasons. To upgrades," Ngozi replied, clinking his glass. "No dead weight." They both laughed, loud enough for the vendors to hear. The planner slid a folder across the table. "Media partners have confirmed. We expect bloggers, vloggers, even a lifestyle TV crew." Ngozi's eyes danced. "Good. I want the entrance shot slow motion." Matthew added, "And cue the choir when the doors open. Let the hall shake." The planner scribbled notes. "And about the guest named Adana? Seat her where she cannot hide," Matthew said, smiling thinly. "That's the point." Gossip moved like harmattan dust. In a salon, women whispered over hairdryers. "I heard he invited his ex just to disgrace her." "He called her barren at a party," another said. "Wickedness. What kind of friend marries her friend's husband?" a third asked. A barber shop argued over football and then slid into gist. If the woman shows up, she get mined. Me, I won't go, someone said. Shame is not my size. Forget. Maybe she will come and cry small and leave. Someone else tapped a phone. Have you seen the video from the gala? The slap was loud. A beg. In her new apartment, Adana sat with Barrister Okeke and Kamsi. A tray of small chops sat untouched. I want this to be simple, she said. No escort, no crowd. Understood, the lawyer said. But take 2 security men. Quiet ones. Kamsi showed her the plan on a tablet. We arrive 10 minutes after the ceremony starts. We sit. We stay 1 hour. We leave. Adana nodded. If anyone tries to speak to me, smile and step away. No comment. Yes, ma, Kamsi said. The lawyer cleared his throat. There will be cameras. Remember Chief's words. Enter through the gate with your head high. Adana breathed in and out. I remember. Her phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. Don't come. Save yourself the embarrassment. Another followed. If you attend, sit at the back. Respect yourself. She put the phone face down. Kamsi watched her. Are you okay? I am not broken, Adana said simply. I know who I am now. At the final bridal fitting, Ngozi twirled in a crystal white gown. This is the one, she said, admiring her reflection. I look like a goddess. Her mother adjusted a sleeve. You have done well for yourself. Leave that poor girl talk. Marriage is for the strong. Ngozi smiled. Strong and beautiful. A bridesmaid scrolled her phone. People are saying Adana has been quiet. Maybe she won't come. Ngozi's smile thinned. She will come. She likes pity. And if she doesn't? The bridesmaid asked. Then we still win, Ngozi replied. Either way, I get my day. 2 days to the wedding, Matthew and his best man walked through the hall. Staff tested lights, arranged flowers, tuned mics. Set the spotlight here, Matthew said, pointing to the aisle. When the doors open, blast it. The best man chuckled. You're really staging a show. Matthew smirked. It is a show. I want her to see what she lost. He stopped at the front row and tapped a chair tag, special guest. He laughed quietly. Perfect. The best man glanced at him. Are you sure you're not doing too much? Matthew's jaw tightened. I'm correcting a mistake. Night before the wedding. Adana's driver, Musa, polished the Bentley in the underground garage. Kamsi double-checked the route. The security men tested earpieces and stood back. Adana sat at her dressing table while the makeup artist worked. Soft, she said. Clean. The artist nodded. You have a strong face. We only need light. Adana looked at a small framed photo of her uncle beside the mirror. She touched the corner and smiled. Thank you, she whispered. Kamsi brought a garment bag and opened it. The Asook gown glowed. The geli sat like a crown. Are you nervous? Kamsi asked. Adana considered it. I am human, but fear is not holding the steering. They both smiled. Her phone lit up again. Another message. Don't come unless you want to cry. She turned the phone off completely. The lawyer called. Final check. Do you want me there? No, she said gently. Meet me after if needed. Then go with peace, he said. And keep your head high. She ended the call and stood. The room was quiet. The city hummed below like a far drum. She breathed, slow and steady. I am not going to fight, she said to the mirror. I am going to stand. Wedding morning. Ngozi posed for photos in her suite. Laughter loud. Champagne higher. Angles, please, she told the photographer. Find my light. Her phone chimed. A bridesmaid read a message and grinned. Bloggers are ready. Hashtags are set. Ngozi lifted her bouquet. Let them watch me win. Across the venue, Matthew adjusted his cufflinks, nerves hiding under pride. Spotlight ready? He asked the planner. Ready, the planner said. Cameras too. Good, Matthew said. Let's make history. At the same hour, Adana walked to the garage. The Bentley door opened with a soft click. Musa stood straight. "We are ready, madam." She settled into the seat, the gown flowing like quiet water. Kamsi sat beside her with the small clutch and a bottle of water. "Remember," Kamsi said, voice low. "In, sit, out." Adana nodded. "In, sit, out." The car eased into the morning road. Lagos moved around them. Okadas weaving, street hawkers calling, sunlight breaking through clouds. Adana looked ahead, eyes clear. She was not going to beg. She was not going to hide. She was going to show that the girl who left the gala in tears was gone. "Drive," she said softly, and the Bentley rolled toward the day that was waiting for her. The Bentley slid to a stop, and heads turned like a wave. Musa stepped out, opened the back door, and stood aside. Adana placed one heel on the red carpet, then the other, and rose, calm, straight, sure. The Aso oak hugged her like quiet armor. Gold threads caught the light. Two small hands slid into hers. The twins stepped out, neat and steady. A murmur rolled through the entrance. "Is that Adana? Ha, Sikar. She came with children?" Kamsi adjusted Adana's geli with one smooth touch, then faded back. "We are ready," she said softly. Adana nodded. "We are not here to fight." "No," Kamsi replied. "We are here to stand." They walked in. Adana in the middle, twins at her sides, the security men forming a quiet triangle around them. Phones lifted everywhere. Inside, the choir was mid-hymn when the doors opened. Light poured across the aisle. For a heartbeat, the song thinned. At the altar, Matthew's smile twitched. "What's happening?" he muttered. The best man swallowed. "She's here." Ngozi kept her face to the photographer. "Don't look back," she hissed. "Do not." But the hall moved on its own. Heads turned. People rose from their seats. The tide of attention pulled away from the front. Adana took the first step down the aisle. An usher rushed forward, voice shaking. "Ma, your seat is in front." Adana's smile was small, polite. "Thank you." The twins matched her pace like they had practiced. They hadn't. They simply trusted her step. The boy's eyes caught the chandelier. The girl squeezed Adana's fingers. Whispers prickled from row to row. "She looks different, powerful. Those children whose own? Chai, this life." Matthew clenched his jaw. He had planned for this front row seat, roaming camera, spotlight, but not this calm. This wasn't begging or shame. It was presence. Ngozi's nails dug into her bouquet. "Why are they staring at her? Look at me. I am the bride." The photographer tried to pull the moment back. "Ma, chin up. Smile." But the lens drifted toward the aisle, hungry for the unexpected. Adana walked, slow and even. Near the middle row, a woman reached out, eyes soft. "Sister, you look beautiful." "Thank you," Adana said, and did not pause. A man in Agbada angled his phone. "We are live, plot twist of the year." They reached the front row. The tag on the aisle seat read special guest. It looked like a dare. Adana lifted it, handed it to the usher without a word, and sat. The twins settled, boy to her left, girl to her right. Kamsi took the next seat, shoulders relaxed, eyes steady. The choir found its voice again, but the room had shifted. The planner, flustered, jabbed a finger at the lights. The spotlight hit the altar. The MC cleared his throat. "Ladies and gentlemen, please. Attention to the front as we begin the vows." Attention tried to obey. Couldn't. Eyes kept sliding to the woman who had once left a gala in tears and now sat like she owned silence. Even those who faced forward felt the pull behind their necks. Matthew leaned toward the planner. "Turn the camera," he hissed. "On me." "It's on you, sir," the planner lied. One camera obeyed. Two didn't. Ngozi forced a smile. "Proceed," she whispered through her teeth. The officiating minister began, voice careful. "Marriage is honorable among all." He tried not to glance at the front row. He failed once, twice, then anchored himself to his book. From her seat, Adana watched without blinking. Neither blessing nor cursing, just seeing clearly. The twins swung their feet softly, shoes tapping chair legs. The boy leaned into her arm. She brushed his knuckles with her thumb. The girl rested her cheek on Adana's shoulder for a breath, then straightened. Two women in the second row whispered, "These children resemble." Shoo. Not here. A blogger's caption flew across screens. Breaking. Ex-wife Adana arrives Matthew and Ngozi's wedding in a Bentley, with twins. Comments exploded. Matthew laughed too loud at nothing, squeezed Ngozi's hand, lifted his chin higher. "Let's do it," he told the minister. "We're ready." Ngozi's smile held. "We have always been ready," she said for the cameras. The vows moved forward. Words about love and patience floated like incense that wouldn't catch. The choir hummed beneath the sentences. Guests sat, but their backs tilted as if their bodies wanted to turn around again. A small boy across the aisle leaned and whispered to Adana, "Auntie, your dress is fine." Adana smiled. "Thank you." His mother tugged him back, embarrassed. "Sorry, Ma." "It's okay," Adana said warmly. Matthew saw the exchange and felt something tighten in his chest. Pride shoved it down. The minister lifted his hands. "If anyone has any reason why these two should not be joined." The hall held its breath. Dangerous line. Even the air paused. Silence answered. Not peace, just silence. "Good," the minister said quickly. "Rings, please." Rings came. Flashbulbs popped. The planner finally exhaled. Adana's phone buzzed once in her clutch. She ignored it. She kept her eyes on the stage, spine tall, breathing slow. Kamsi leaned in, whisper soft. "Water." "No," Adana said. "Let it finish." The twins watched the rings with pure focus. The boy whispered, "Mummy, the rings are small." The girl let out a tiny giggle. Adana touched her lips lightly, and they quieted. The choir swelled. The MC lifted his mic, stronger now. "After the signing, we proceed to the reception." In the balcony, two cameramen argued. Boss said altar. Followers said front row. They split, one on stage, one stealing frames of the woman sitting like a gentle fire. The signing ended. Applause rose loud, uneven. Some clapped for the couple. Some clapped for the show. Some clapped because their hands needed work. The MC beamed. Reception time. Chairs scraped. Voices rose. Movement returned. The planner smiled, thinking the worst was over. Adana remained seated one more breath. She looked at the aisle, then the altar, then at her children. "We move when the crowd moves," she told Kamsi. "No rush." "Copy," Kamsi said. From the stage, Matthew allowed himself a long look at the front row. Adana's eyes met his. No gesture. No sound. Just two lines that used to cross and no longer did. The band struck the first reception note. Doors swung wider. The hall flowed toward tables, food, and speeches. Adana stood with her twins, quiet, sure, and turned toward the aisle. The real turning point was still waiting a few steps ahead. "Daddy!" The word shot across the reception hall like a firecracker. Heads turned before the music could swallow it. The boy had slipped his hand from Adana's and was already running. His sister followed, laughter in her breath, small shoes tapping the floor. "Daddy! Daddy!" Matthew froze mid-handshake with a politician. The smile on his face fell in pieces. For a heartbeat, no one moved. Then the cameras swung. Adana stood up fast. "Chinedu, Chioma, wait!" They didn't. The boy reached Matthew first and hugged his waist like it was the most normal thing in the world. The girl wrapped her arms around his arm and looked up with bright eyes. "Daddy," she said again, softer this time, like a secret. Silence rolled over the tables. Cutlery paused mid-air. The band faltered and tried to find the key again, then gave up. Ngozi's bouquet lowered inch by inch. "What did they say?" The politician pulled his hand back from Matthew and took a step away, sensing heat he didn't want. A blogger whispered, "Are you getting this?" Another answered, "I'm live." Matthew's mouth opened, closed, opened. "What are you, who?" He looked over the heads, searching, and found Adana at the edge of the dance floor, calm, still, eyes on her children. "Need 'em, Chioma?" Adana said gently. Come back. But the boy clung tighter. Daddy, we found you. Matthew's throat worked. His eyes flicked to the girl's face, then the boy's, and the likeness he had refused to see because it was easier to be proud than to be honest, stood in front of him in small, breathing form. Ngozi took one step closer, voice thin. Matthew, say something. Guests whispered like wind in dry leaves. Children? From where? Were we not told she was barren? Ha! This one is film. The MC laughed a shaky laugh into the mic. Ladies and gentlemen. A quick, surprise visit from, he dropped the mix volume himself. This was bigger than announcements. Matthew tried to lift the boy away, but the child squeezed tighter and laughed. Stop, Daddy, you're tickling me. The laugh cut him. Memories he had buried rose without asking. Early mornings, a test result he didn't wait to repeat. A doctor's sentence he made a crown for his anger. He tasted metal in his mouth. Ngozi's eyes hardened. Matthew. He didn't look at her. He looked at Adana. What is this? Adana did not move. They called you, she said. I did not. So you brought them to cause a scene? His voice was low, shaking. I brought my children to sit, she said. They stood. Kamsi was at Adana's shoulder, calm but alert. Do you want me to get them? Adana shook her head. No, let this breathe. A woman near the cake table whispered to her friend. The girl has his eyes. The friend whispered back. The boy has his smile. A man in Agbada sighed. God is watching. Matthew tried again. Let go, he told the boy. His voice was soft now, not a threat, not a command. It was almost a plea. The boy released, but only to look up at him proudly. We came in a big car, the boy said. Mummy said we must behave. The girl nodded. We behaved. Come, Adana called gently. Come back, my loves. They didn't move yet. They were small people in a big moment. They were not ready to return to their seats. Ngozi found her voice, thin but sharp. Matthew, tell them to leave. Tell her to take them away. Matthew swallowed. Go to your mother, he said to the children, the word catching like a bone in his throat. The boy blinked. She is our mother. And you are. The girl tilted her head. Daddy. Phones lifted higher. Someone somewhere started a slow clap, then stopped, embarrassed. The band leader wiped his forehead with a towel. The officiating minister stood from his chair, unsure whether to speak or pray. Adana walked forward 3 steps, not rushing. She reached the children and knelt so she was eye level. You have greeted, she said softly. Now we sit. The boy nodded. The girl squeezed Matthew's arm once more, quick and light, then let go. They took Adana's hands. Matthew watched the small fingers fold into hers. He felt something shift inside that pride could not hold. He opened his mouth to speak, to reclaim the room, but the room had moved past him. Ngozi finally snapped. This is madness, she hissed. She planned this. Adana met her eyes. I planned to sit, she said. Children planned to greet. Ngozi laughed without humor. Oh, so neat. Adana stood, the twins at her sides. I came quietly, she said, voice firm but not loud. I will leave quietly. The MC tried to restart the music. The band tried to follow. The hall tried to remember how to be a party. Couldn't. A guest stood and cleared his throat. Please let us have order, he said to no one in particular. Another guest sat back down slowly. Order has left, he muttered. Matthew rubbed his temples. Take them away, he said. But he did not say it like a man who wanted it. He said it like someone who had woken up and found the ceiling lower than the night before. Adana looked at the twins. Say, excuse me. Excuse me, they said together, small and polite, to Matthew, to Ngozi, to the space itself. They began to walk back to their seats. Cameras tracked them like comets. The boy looked back once, confused. The girl didn't. She held her mother's hand and counted her steps inside her head. Ngozi stepped into Matthew's line of sight. Explain, she whispered. Now. Matthew stared at the floor, then at the children's backs, then at the guests. His mouth was dry. Later, he said. Not later, Ngozi pressed. Now. Adana reached the front row and sat. Kamsi exhaled and sat too. The twins leaned in, one on each side, safe again. Adana smoothed the boy's collar, then the girl's sleeve. Her face was calm, but her hand shook once and then was still. A blogger's caption updated in real time. Twins call Matthew Daddy at reception. Crowd stunned. Bride fumes. The planner whispered into his headset. Bring the food. Fast. Distract. Waiters began to move like a strategy, but the taste in the hall had changed. Ngozi's mother approached the couple. Matthew, she said softly, careful of microphones. Family room. Now. Ngozi's jaw set. Yes, now. They moved toward a side door. The best man followed. Two aunties trailed behind, ready to contain fire. Cameras tried to follow, but security blocked gently, palms open. At the front row, Kamsi leaned closer to Adana. Do we leave? Not yet, Adana said. We will not run. The twins looked up. Mummy, are we in trouble? The girl asked. No, Adana said, kissing her forehead. You greeted your father. That is not wrong. The boy frowned. Why did he look sad? Adana held his small hand. Because truth is heavy the first time you carry it. The band found a beat and played it like a bandage. Some people stood to dance because their bodies needed to move away from tension. Others sat and watched the side door like it was a mouth that would spit out a storm. Adana folded the invitation card inside her clutch and closed it. She sat, spine tall, eyes calm. The side door closed behind Matthew and Ngozi. Are you trying to embarrass me on my wedding day? Ngozi shouted the moment the side door closed behind them. Her voice bounced off the small reception room. Matthew ran a hand across his face, sweat beading on his forehead. Lower your voice, he muttered. Lower my voice? She snapped. Those children called you daddy, in front of everyone. Cameras everywhere. What do you expect me to do? Smile. Matthew paced, his hands on his hips. I didn't plan this. I didn't even know she would bring them. Ngozi's eyes narrowed. Don't lie to me. Did you know about those children? Silence. Matthew, she pressed. Answer me. He turned sharply. I knew she was pregnant years ago, but the doctor said she had no chance. I thought it was nothing. I left it. Ngozi gasped like he had struck her. You left it? You mean you abandoned her with your children and told the world she was barren? Matthew's jaw tightened. I didn't know she would actually have them. I thought she was trying to trap me. Ngozi laughed bitterly. And now the trap is on you. Do you see the blogs? Do you hear the whispers? The bride overshadowed by the ex-wife and her twins. What a headline. The best man cleared his throat carefully. Maybe if we stay out of this, Ngozi barked. She stepped closer to Matthew. You humiliated her, and today you humiliated me. You brought me into a marriage that already had roots. Matthew raised a hand. Don't twist this. I chose you. She pointed a finger at his chest. No, you chose shame. Look at those children, spitting image of you. Every guest saw it. And you think sponsors, investors, politicians will still respect you after this circus. Matthew slammed his fist on the table. Enough. Don't forget yourself. You are here because I put you here. Ngozi's voice dropped, cold and sharp. No, Matthew. I am here because you wanted to use me to climb higher. But now you have dragged me down instead. An auntie who followed into the room finally spoke. This is disgraceful. You two are shouting while people outside are recording everything. Do you know how many phones are live? Ngozi turned to her. Let them record. I will not be the silent fool. I did not sign up to be mocked by his past. Matthew pulled at his collar. We have to go back out there. If we hide, it's worse. Ngozi folded her arms. Then go. Go and face them. But don't expect me to smile. You lied, you hid children, you destroyed your own wedding. The best man whispered. Matthew, the guests are restless. People are asking questions. The minister is waiting. Matthew rubbed his face again, his pride cracking. I will handle it, he said. Ngozi gave him one last glare. Handle it? You couldn't handle your wife. You couldn't handle your children. You couldn't even handle the truth. Handle this wedding yourself. She tore off her veil, threw it on the chair, and marched out through a different door. Gasps followed from the corridor as guests caught sight of her storming away. Matthew stood frozen, breathing hard. The auntie shook her head. Pride has destroyed you, my son. You thought you were mocking her. But now everyone is mocking you. The best man tried again. What will you do? Matthew whispered, almost to himself. I don't know. Out in the hall, the music had turned into noise people didn't believe. Guests whispered over plates they weren't eating. Phones buzzed with new posts. The story was already trending. Bride storms out after groom's twins appear. At the front row, Adana sat still, her twins leaning against her shoulders. She had not moved. She didn't need to. The storm was moving around her, and Matthew's kingdom was falling without her lifting a finger. Her calm was louder than any shout, and the wedding that was supposed to disgrace her was now collapsing in real time. Make way, please, an usher said softly as he opened the main doors. Adana rose. The twins stood with her, one on each side. She did not rush. She did not look left or right. She only looked ahead, her back straight, her steps calm. The hall, loud a moment ago, fell into a quiet that felt like respect. A woman near the aisle touched her arm gently. My sister, you are strong. God bless you. Thank you, Adana said, and kept moving. Another guest stood. Madam, your dignity today, I will not forget it. God keep you, Adana replied, voice warm. Phones were still up, but hands lowered as she passed. People shifted chairs without being told, clearing a path. Even the band, trying to play, reduced the volume on their own. The story had already been told. No more noise could change it. Kamsi walked a step behind, eyes steady. Car is ready, she whispered. Good, Adana said. They reached the middle of the hall just as the side door opened. Matthew stepped back in, face pale, pride cracked like dry paint. He stopped when he saw them. The murmurs returned in small waves. Adana, he called, the name thin in his mouth. She did not stop, but she turned her head slightly. Yes. His eyes bounced between her face and the children. You can't leave like this. I came quietly, she said. I am leaving quietly. Please, he said, voice low. Just a minute. The twins looked up at her. She squeezed their hands. 1 minute, she told them and turned to face him fully. The hall leaned in. Matthew tried to smile. It broke. You planned this. No, Adana said, calm. You planned to mock me. Your plan failed. He swallowed. I didn't know. About them. Not for sure. You didn't want to know, she replied. It was easier to call me names. The room was so quiet they could hear the air conditioner hum. Matthew lowered his voice like a child caught doing wrong. What do you want me to do? Adana shook her head. I don't want anything from you. He blinked. Nothing, she said. I wanted respect. You sold it for pride. Keep the change. A few people exhaled like they had been holding their breath forever. Ngozi's mother stood across the room, watching, frowned deep. Please let her go, she said, tired and sharp. This day is finished. Matthew's best man tugged his sleeve. Bro, enough. Matthew looked at the twins again. The boy's face was open. The girl's eyes were clear. He could not hold their gaze. He stepped back. Adana inclined her head, not as a bow, but as a goodbye. Take care of your choices, she said. She turned. They walked. By the rows, people began to clap. Soft at first, then stronger. Not the wild clap of a party, but the steady clap of respect.